Are you looking for a nice and easy tutorial to follow on how to make good YouTube thumbnails? If so, stay tuned. What is going on, guys? Chad here from How To Tech, the channel dedicated to helping you take your tech to the next level. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down how to make easy custom thumbnails for YouTube. Let's go ahead and jump into this. All right, so I'm going to preface this very quickly with saying that this video is meant to be very short, precise, and to the point, not very detailed on the intricacies of Photoshop, such as keyboard shortcuts and a whole bunch of other things. I'm going to be breaking this down very simple for people who have never used Photoshop before, so they can make a thumbnail very quickly without a lot of research and a lot of time invested in Photoshop. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into how to make something very, very similar to this in a very timely manner. All right, so getting started, we need to create a file. So we'll go to File, New, and we will create a document. So fastest way to do it is to actually go to Web Large, which is 1920 by 1080 pixels at 72 pixels per inch, which you can see right here. I uncheck artboards, and then I go ahead and click Create. This should load a blank document. What we want to do now is add a color to the background. So we're going to go ahead and click Layer. Actually, we're going to click Layer, New Fill Layer, and then Solid Color, and then click OK. So for this, we're going to just be selecting some kind of light blue for the background. So we're going to go with something, it's a little light blue, but a little dark too. So somewhere kind of right around in here, and then select OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete this background layer. So I'm going to click on it and then click delete or the trash can, and then confirm that yes. So this is now our new background layer. We want to go ahead and add in text. So we'll click on the T over here. This is the horizontal type tool. And if you don't see it, you can right click and then select it here, or you can just press T on your keyboard. And what you're going to do then is click where you want text and drag this box out. So anywhere in this box, you can have text. It will autofill it with some, foreign language for me. Maybe it's a native language for you. I don't know. So we're going to type in this. I'm going to type in easy because we want this to say easy custom thumbnails. I want easy to be fairly large. So I will select this, all of the text, and then I will click on the T here and hold down, and then I will drag to the right to increase or the left to decrease the size. So I want to increase this. I want this probably around this size right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on the check mark. Then I'm going to select the move tool, and I'm going to drag this down just a little bit to where it's kind of more towards the middle of the document. Then I'm going to make sure the move tool is selected, select my layer again, press Ctrl J. This is going to duplicate my layer. I'm going to move this down. I'm going to make this say custom. So I'm going to hit T on my keyboard or click T over here. Select this all by double clicking. And then I'm going to size this down because custom is a longer word than easy. And I want it to take up around the same amount of size. So I type in custom. I'm going to select this all again. And then I'm going to resize this to where it looks like it's about the same width here as easy. Then click the checkbox, and then I'm done with that one. So now I want to create another duplicate of custom. So I'm going to click on the move tool, and then press Ctrl J. This duplicates this layer again. I'm going to move this down, and then press T on my keyboard or click the type tool again. And then we're going to make this say thumbnails. So we can already see that thumbnails is not going to fit there. So I'm going to highlight this, downsize this a little bit, say thumbnails, and then select all this and then scale it back up just a little bit to where it fits around the same size. I'm going to click the checkbox again, and now we have these roughly in the same size that we want them. So that is good. So I'm going to select the move tool again, and then I'm actually going to select easy, custom, and thumbnail. So I'm going to click easy on the bottom, hold shift, click thumbnails, and then I'm going to click this folder down here or press Ctrl G to create a group. And we're going to just name this by double clicking on it and naming it text. What I can do now is I can select the whole group, and then I can rescale this if I feel like it needs to be bigger or smaller, but I don't know that yet because I haven't added my image in. So to add my image in, I'm actually going to go to Microsoft Edge because I don't want to pull up my browser. So we'll pull this up, and then we will go to google.com. Then I will go to Google Images, and we're going to search for a transparent file. So in this instance, I'm going to search for Photoshop logo PNG. It will bring up a bunch of different images here. We're looking for an image that is a PNG or an SVG, which are transparent files. That's what we're really looking for. There are some instances of where you might not need a transparent file, but the reason why I'm doing it is because it's, you know, more applicable. Like if you aren't using it, then fine, you're good. So let's go ahead and right click on this, open a new tab. This is going to open this somewhere else, and we can see now that we can see this logo. In this instance, we actually don't need a transparent one since it literally could just be a document this size, but for the sake of it, we're going to download this icon in a PNG format. And we're going to go ahead and save that to a certain location. And then we're going to go ahead and click save. Now that we've saved the document, we're going to close out the browser, and we're going to go to our file explorer and find our document. All right, so now that I've found my image, I'm going to take it and drag it over into Photoshop, and we now have the option to resize it. So by default, the move tool is selected, and I'm going to drag this corner and pull it up to make this bigger. So we're going to put this kind of right around this area, and then click the checkbox. So another thing I want to do is I want to kind of size these where they're a similar distance away from the side. So I'm going to eyeball this by selecting text. I'm going to shift this over to the left a little bit, and then I'm going to move Photoshop in just a little bit so they're both a little more even as in regards to the edge. I'm also going to select text and then use the move tool to move it down so they're a little more in center with each other, and then I'm going to click off of it. The last thing I want to do is add some text effects to make the text stand out a little bit. So I'm going to expand this by clicking here, and now we can see all of our text layers. So I'm going to double click on easy, and I want to add some drop shadow. So I'm going to check drop shadow and then double check this box. I like the way this is set up currently right now, but you could add a little more or a little less. So we're going to adjust it just ever so slightly and add a little bit of spread to it. So I'm going to put the spread probably around 30. And you could copy these settings here and you can adjust these. Spread essentially changes how kind of thick this is, and then size has to do with how much area it takes up. So I'm going to once again leave that kind of around 30 spread, I believe, and 32 size, and then 80% opacity. So just go ahead and copy these settings if you like that. Then I'm going to click OK because I'm done with that layer. And you can see it's now added an effects layer. So I'm going to right click this layer, click copy layer style, select custom, and then select thumbnails by holding down Control or Shift, and then hitting right clicking on it and then click paste layer style. So now we have had drop shadow added to these layers, but I want to update these colors. So I'm going to click on custom, double click on those, and then I'm going to select color overlay, and then click here, and then we can select whatever color we want. So we're going to go for a neon kind of blue, and then select OK, and then OK again. For thumbnails, we want to kind of do the same thing, but change the color, and we're going to kind of somewhat match the thumbnail for this video. So we're going to change this to a yellow color, and you can see that's actually already selected there, but if it wasn't, you could select here, click on this, and then select a yellow, and then click OK. The last thing we're going to do is add some kind of drop shadow or glow to this image just to make it stand out. So we're going to find that here. You could select the move tool and then select this, and then we'll double click on it. And you could actually use the drop shadow tool, select that, and then just change the color. And this can give it a slight glow appeal to it. Or you could actually use the built-in glow by going to outer glow and then selecting a color here. So say we wanted to use this kind of blue. So we'd select that, and then we can actually turn up the spread of this and the size to kind of get a slight glow effect coming from this. So for in this case, maybe a yellow might be good. And then we can turn up the opacity to where it kind of stands out and kind of shines a little bit. So you can kind of fine tune that and find out whatever kind of works for you. So for this case, we'll just go with something very simple like this. The last thing I want to do is I want to move this down. I feel like it sits a little too far up on the document. So I'm going to select here and then hit, let's see, click the top layer and then find the second to bottom layer because we don't want to move the background. So we will, actually I somehow selected all of the background. So let me deselect that. So we'll select the top layer and then select the bottom layer by holding Shift. And whenever we click the bottom one, we've selected everything. And then I'm just going to use the arrow keys to move this down slightly towards the middle. Now that our thumbnail is done, we need to save this into a format where we can upload it to the internet. I suggest PNG over JPEG, specifically because I feel like it looks way better on web than a JPEG does. So to do that, we'll click File, Save As, and then we're going to save as a PNG. So for this sake, I'm going to save this as tutorial.png. Then save. It says it's already there. I'm going to go ahead and replace it. For you, it would probably just go ahead and save. Then you get 3 options whenever you save as a PNG in this version of Photoshop: large file size, fastest saving; medium file size; smallest file size. I would go with the large file size. If it says the file is too big, then maybe try these other 2. Then click OK. Then go to your File Explorer, find the file you created, double click on it, and now you get to see the awesome custom thumbnail that you created yourself. So alright guys, that's going to be all for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you really enjoyed this, make sure to check out our Discord and even our Patreon if you guys want to help support the channel even further. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know in the comment section down below if you enjoyed this video and you think it helped you out a little bit. If so, that would be awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Chad from How To Tech, the channel dedicated to helping you take your tech to the next level, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.